Here's some minimalist spending habits we as frugal minimalists 100% think should be normalized. We are all about saving time, saving money, and simplifying life. So these are the things we do, the habits we practice regularly that save us a whole lot of hassle, time, and money. And our lives have never been simpler. Let's jump in.
First up, repeating outfits. A different outfit for every new event is not necessary. It's expensive and you'll end up with an overflowing wardrobe filled with one-hit wonders. It's not just the price that racks up when you buy a new outfit for every occasion. It's the time cost of searching every single time you're invited to a new event, the space cost of your wardrobe, and the mental cost of decision fatigue when you wander over to your wardrobe to get dressed. I really used to struggle with this never repeating outfits issue. I think especially for women, we've been marketed to strongly from such young ages that you're somehow not allowed to repeat outfits. It's definitely gotten out of hand over the past few decades, and I'm sure we've all seen more than our fair share of media headlines or front covers of magazines shouting at us that that woman wore that thing twice. Washing machines exist, our planet is precious and can't keep up with the demand fast fashion is putting on the environment, and resources like water and clean air are groaning under the weight of constantly upgrading to the latest trend and tossing out one-hit wonder type clothing. It shouldn't be seen as shameful or weird to wear something twice. It's actually better for the environment that you do. Plus, it's a really smart thing to think about the cost per wear of any item you buy. This is the cost of the item divided by the number of times you'll wear it. It'll help out your wallet, make you more mindful of only investing in your favorites of favorites, and repeating outfits opens up more space for decision fatigue to go down and our planet Earth to breathe a little easier. So yes, repeating outfits is a core tenet of minimalism and one that we 100% think should be normalized.
Next, as the second minimalist spending habit we think should be normalized, not constantly upgrading to the latest tech, technology. There's a revolving door of new shiny tech thingamabobs that are already being created to supersede your fancy new phone before you even walk out the store. Yes, tech is evolving and things will eventually wear out. That's a part of life. But here we're talking about this obsession that so many of us have with upgrading to the latest tech drop simply because it's new, even if our current thing is working perfectly fine. Just like the pressure the fast fashion industry is putting on the environment, the tech industry is right there too. Masses of perfectly fine tech has been thrown out simply because the new version came out a year later. It's like clockwork. The latest and greatest iPhone model comes out every year now, and there's still huge lines of people queuing up in front of stores with their perfectly functional one-year-old phones in their pockets. Despite Apple being fined 25 million euros for admitting to deliberately slowing down older iPhone models.
When I was 8, I got a techno dog for my birthday, and it was a little robot dog that I absolutely loved. It ran on batteries, and a few years ago I went to my parents' old place to clear out any remaining things and stumbled across Techno Dog. I was amazed that he actually turned on. His batteries still worked, and somehow after all that time his batteries hadn't exploded. They don't make batteries like they used to, and planned obsolescence is becoming more and more pronounced as companies try to cut more and more costs and attempt to future-proof their repeat customers.
So drifting back to our main point, upgrading to the latest tech as soon as it goes live when your current thing is perfectly good and works well isn't in keeping with a minimalist mindset. It's expensive, wasteful, and contributes to landfill and puts an ever-increasing pressure on the environment. Cherishing things like phones and other devices that make everyday life easier and taking good care of them until they finally cark it, that's a minimalist habit we wish was more normalized in today's day and age. I think there will come a time when it will become necessary and just the done thing, because so many of the core elements required to build things like batteries and powerful processors are sources from our planet's finite resources. At some point, the equation won't make sense, and businesses will need to evolve and adapt, and hopefully invest more in making things far more sustainable and long-living. The tech space is definitely an area that can be a lot of forward movement and improvement when it comes to making things that last.
Third, as another minimalist habit we think should be more normalized, learning how to mend and repair. Mending is not a skill as widely taught as it was in the time of my grandmother, but oh how it can save you money and prolong the life of your favorite things. From growing up in the 90s to now, I've seen the drastic change in how we as a society care for our things, and I don't think I'm alone with observing we're in what many call a throwaway culture. At the first sign of wear and tear, many people throw things away, but it didn't always used to be that way. In fact, my grandmother was a bit of a whiz when it came to mending holes in clothing or patching up things as good as new, and so many in her generation were. As we've already chatted about, some things have taken a bit of a dive when it comes to making things to last, and planned obsolescence is without a doubt the business model for many companies nowadays. The term fast fashion wasn't even a thing in my grandmother's era because it simply didn't exist yet. Nowadays, finding items of clothing that are thin, not double-lined, and fall apart after literally one wash because it's loosely single-stitched, you don't need to look too far. The ability to buy things like clothes online is a blessing and a curse because it's difficult to know what exactly the quality of the item is like without seeing it and touching it in person. When I was at the peak of my buying new clothes online era, more often than not, it ended in disappointment. Even some of the more expensive items of clothing from well-known brands weren't making things like they used to. Elastic becoming loose is something that just never seemed to happen to my older clothes, or some vintage clothing that I have is simply just built better. Apparently, the term fast fashion was first used at the beginning of the 1990s when Zara opened in New York. Ever since then, there's been a noticeable nosedive in the amount of time spent making durable, quality, long-lasting clothes as a whole on a global scale. There are some amazing brands out there doing wonderful work to be sustainable and make things to last, but it's a rarity when compared to the vast majority of the clothing industry's top sellers. So yes, learning to mend and repair things, especially clothing, I wish that was more normalized. And of course, I wish the whole making items to be sturdy, durable, and actually last was too.
The fourth spending habit we wish was more normalized: borrowing items to test them out. We've talked about this one a few times, but not every single person needs every single thing. Sometimes the one-hit wonders, like oddly specific tools for example, just don't need to be bought at all. You can borrow them from a local hardware store for an hourly or daily fee, or even your local lending library for free, which is even better. If you're not 100% certain you'll even love the thing or actually use it more than one time, it's a good idea to try borrowing an item instead of buying where you can, and if it makes sense for you to do so. We don't need all the tools and random machinery for home projects piling up in our garages if we're not fully into DIY projects. Sometimes borrowing can be the far better option, space-wise and money-wise, and it's one thing we wish was more normalized. The next time you're unsure if you'll actually get good use from something, consider checking out your local Buy Nothing group on Facebook to see if someone will let you borrow first. Or check with friends and family, or suss out your local hardware store or lending library.
Prioritizing experiences over things for gifts is fifth on a list of things we wish were more normalized. For Christmas last year, the one thing Josh and I asked for when we did our yearly family Secret Santa was a voucher for a laser tag arena. We were beyond happy when Josh's brother and my parents gifted us money towards this because it's what we really wanted and appreciated more than any sort of random physical thing. Josh's birthday was in the month prior as well and had also asked for a voucher towards this because we decided we wanted to play a full season of laser tag. So money towards something fun that we could both do together, something that we'd always wanted to do and make some new local friends playing in an actual league. This was the best kind of gift. Every week during the summer, we headed out and spent the best kind of quality time together, forming new connections with people we'd never met before and getting exercise in probably the most fun way imaginable, chasing each other around with lasers. Experiences over physical things is my kind of gift, and one that keeps giving in the way of making cool memories and spending quality time with loved ones. It's taken a while to let friends and family know we truly do value quality time and experiences over physical gifts because, like I'm sure many people have experienced, there can be a bit of a pushback in our consumer society from the gifter. It's almost like there's this obligation or guilt that creeps in when it comes to not giving a physical tangible thing. But the I didn't know what to get you, so I just got this thing kind of gifts are exactly the kinds of gifts that can pile up, and there can be a kind of pressure to hold on to these things because they were gifted to you by someone that you love. I think we've all been there. We're not saying there's anything wrong with physical gifts. Things can be great and make life more enjoyable for sure, but having the conversation with whomever you're gifting something to, whether it be a birthday or Christmas or another special occasion, can be a wonderful way to get closer to knowing someone and what they might even actually really need, which is honestly the best kind of gift of all. Opening up the conversation and asking what is it you would really love as a gift can be a powerful way in finding out what someone truly wants. When someone does share what the thing or experience is that would make their heart sing, it's a wonderful thing to listen and not push it aside out of your own sense of duty to simply getting them a physical, tangible thing. Because we've had those kinds of gifts and they're really not gifts for you. They're gifts for the gifter to say, look at the thing I got you, or the money I spent on you. Experiences as gifts don't need to be expensive. Like with our laser tag, we got money towards that over a few different different celebratory occasions like Josh's birthday and Christmas. And it was money we put towards the best gift I think we've ever received and truly cherished every single week. This one, gifts, is so personal and it completely varies from person to person. But as we're talking about minimalist spending habits we wish were more normalized, we wish experiences were, and the obligation of physical gift giving if it's not the right time or person wasn't pushed for as much, or seen as the default in a world largely built on overconsumption and buying thing after thing, even if you know that they won't keep it in the next 5 years. Experiences over gifts. It can be so insanely tailored to anyone's taste and budget, and we wish it was more normalized.
Second to last on our list as a minimalist spending habit we wish was more normalized, investing in your future. This covers things like learning about ETFs and index funds in the stock market and the wonders of compound interest, to investing in your health for future you. There's a lack of education around investing for your future, and the nowness of the here and now seems to reign supreme when it comes to spending and investing money. We're not financial advisors and we don't give professional financial advice, but we do think learning the ins and outs of investing in the stock market, specifically through lower risk things like index funds or ETFs, should be normalized. It's a wonderful thing to invest in your own future and put your own money back into future you. We're personally not fans of picking stocks and watching the highs and lows. It's incredibly time consuming and can be risky. So simplifying things and leaning into something like an index fund or an ETF is cool, and it's typically a good mix of the top performing companies and doesn't require you to monitor individual companies. We wish this kind of thing was talked about at school instead of just pick a random company and bet on it. Even just learning about how compound interest works puts you ahead in life, and combining this with actually investing your money in things that generate you more money rather than just buying things like the latest pair of fancy shoes or a car, which acts more like a liability, is something that aligns very well with being a minimalist. In the same way, we wish learning about how to properly invest into your health for future you was more normalized. There's a lot of misinformation about diets and how to safely lose weight, what exercises you should be doing daily to strengthen your muscles and joints so you're better protected when you get older. And normalizing spending money to invest in your future health is something that should be more normalized from an early age.
Last on our list of minimalist habits we think should be more normalized: meal planning and eating at home. Eating the majority of meals at home literally saves us tens of thousands each year, and we think that eating in should be more normalized. Going out to eat has gotten expensive, and although we love doing it for special occasions, it's not something that we indulge in all the time, and it makes it a lot more special when we do. Having good healthy options at home that cost a fraction of the price, that you can fully control what you're putting in your meal, like how much oil and how much salt, is a wonderful thing, and we're not sure when it became a weird thing to eat at home on the weekends. But for some people, they think it is weird that we eat the majority of our food at home. When I think about the sheer amount of time we don't spend waiting in line to get a seat or waiting to pay, or how much extra money we don't spend because we make 99% of our meals at home, it's a no-brainer for us. We save time, we save money, cut down on food waste because serving sizes at restaurants are always way too big, and we cut down on one of the biggest reoccurring expenses there is in life: food. And we get to put that money elsewhere and take better care of our health and bank account at the same time. So you're not weird if you eat at home majority of the time, and we think it should be more normalized.
So there we go. There's 7 minimalist spending habits we think should be more normalized. We hope our list inspired you to maybe think about things a little differently, or sparked a thought about your own spending habits and how minimalism has the potential to improve your financial standing. As always, none of this is financial advice. We're not professional financial advisors. We're just a couple of frugal minimalists that like saving and making money, so we can pursue the things in life that align with us the most.
Everyone is different, and there might be some things on our list that you love and implement in your own life, and others that you don't, and that's totally okay. We all have our different paths, values, goals, and commitments in life, and in sharing a list of things we personally wish were more normalized when it comes to spending money, we hope you take it as a thought-provoking list to pick and choose whatever speaks to you and helps you in your own simplifying journey.
We hope you liked our video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more of this kind of minimalism and simple living content. And until next time, bye. Spending habits we wish were more normalized.
Picky.
Yeah, that's a good idea.